Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we have another quick draft of Theros Beyond Death. Let's get into our pick one, pack one here. There are two cards that stand out quite a bit to me here. I do like Shimmerwing Chimera a lot. 4 mana for a 3/2 flying enchantment creature is fine. Just a 4 mana 3/2 flyer in this format can break through board stalls. But the ability on this is really nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to one other enchantment you control to its owner's hand. Now there are enchantments in every single color. They're called the Omens, that are instant speed enchantments that when they come into play do something solid. So like the red one is 2 mana for 2 damage to any target. The blue one is 2 mana to scry 2 and draw a card. With any of those omens, this card is really solid because then you're just repeatedly casting those over and over and getting a lot of value that way. We also have Staggering Insight, white and a blue. For an enchantment, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 lifelink, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If you can put this on any evasive threat whatsoever, even just a flyer like Shimmerwing Chimera, being able to gain a bunch of life when you're hitting your opponent and draw cards is really, really powerful. So this is a really solid aura. And then we also have the rare, the Akroan War, 3 and a red to steal one of your opponent's creatures as long as this is on the battlefield, and then next turn your opponent's creatures have to attack you, and on the third form, you are dealing damage to each tapped creature equal to its power. And of course, the way that sagas work, since they activate after your draw step, that is after your untap step, so you know that you are not dealing damage to any of your tapped creatures because all your creatures will already have untapped. So this can be a one-sided wrath if you can survive to the third form and force your creatures all into like a bad attack that way. And my apologies about the phone notification. Let me just check real quick. Okay. It is my mom telling me I need to put things on my Amazon wishlist because my birthday's coming up. Okay. Alright, so the Akroan War, I think might be the pick here. I mean, it can be a one-sided wrath. It is a little bit of work, but a pretty powerful card in general. And especially in a Rakdos sacrifice deck, since you're borrowing your opponent's creature as long as you control the saga, if you have any sacrifice effects, you can just sacrifice it before you give it back, so even there you could get some value. I'm going to take a Akroan War there, but as I said before, those blue cards were quite solid as well. Here we have nothing for Rakdos Sacrifice, unfortunately. We have a 4 mana 4/3, very mediocre filler creature, and 3 mana 2/2. This is a creature you pretty much never want to play. I guess on occasion, if you're in a traditional draft where you can sideboard, it would be okay, because then you could, if your opponent is playing like some really scary artifact, blow it up, but that doesn't happen often enough in the format for this to be main deckable. So not taking anything for Rakdos Sac to go with the Akroan War, but there are still a couple great cards in here just for other strategies. We have Dreadful Apathy, the best white removal spell at common in the set. 3 mana to pacify a creature, and then you can spend 3 mana again to exile it permanently. Pretty solid card, great against escape creatures, because then you exile them instead of putting them in the graveyard. And even if you don't spend the mana to exile them, you're stranding them on the board rather than putting them in the graveyard. There's also a Fairies Band Brawler, great for a Gruul aggro deck, a Gruul monsters deck. The green-red strategy in the format is to have a lot of creatures with power 4 or greater, and this is a really solid one right there, giving you value by fighting something when it comes into play and then leaving behind a 4/4 body. So, a removal spell and a creature all in one, just at a kind of an expensive cost. And then outside of that, I guess we have like Voracious Typhon, which I do like, as a 4 mana 4/4 that then escapes back as like a 7/7, really solid common there. So Apathy, if we want to go for like red-white aggro, Fairies Band Brawler for like Gruul monsters. I did just draft Gruul monsters last time, but I think a Akroan War would lend itself a little better to a Gruul deck than a Boros deck. It would be better in red-green than red-white, because we're going to have creatures that are big enough that we can like force them into pretty bad attacks. In a red-white deck, you're just trying to be as aggressive as possible with smaller creatures, generally in almost every limited format. So we actually won't have like great blockers for the second part of this saga. But yeah, I think a Gruul deck lends itself better to a more mid-range, late-game powerhouse deck, which is the kind of deck Akroan War fits nicely into. Here we do have the Omen of the Forge, the Omen in red. That would have gone great with the blue uncommon we saw in the first pack. That being said, it's not a huge impact, and both of our 2 cards already are sort of removal, a Crone War and Fairies Band Brawler. This is just good against the more aggressive threats. The smaller threats, obviously, by only doing 2 damage, whereas Typhon is just such a solid card. 4 mana 4/4 and then a 7 mana 7/7 in the late game. And it's pretty much perfect for the red-green strategy being 4 power. I think I'm going to go with Typhon over Omen of the Forge, but it is kind of close. There's also Elspeth's Nightmare, just a solid black removal spell, pretty similar to Omen of the Forge in that it only kills the small stuff, but then you can potentially duress your opponent as well, making them discard a non-creature non-land, maybe get rid of one of their removal spells that way, and then you exile their graveyard to slow down all of their escape. And if you've killed any of their escape cards, you just get rid of that entirely, so Elspeth's Nightmare is pretty good. Birth of Meletis is okay. Mainly good and like standard for a control deck. I'm going to take the Typhon here. Well, we do see a Slaughter Priest of Mogis, and not too excited by the green cards, although Relentless Pursuit is fine. Look at the top 4, draw a creature and land from among them, put the rest in your graveyard, so it helps trigger your escape cards like Voracious Typhon by fueling your graveyard. And it lets you just draw creatures, which the green-red decks are going to be almost all creatures in the deck. Hero of the Games is much less exciting, just a 3/2. If you're running a bunch of auras or pump spells, it can give your whole field +1/+0, but generally not really exciting. I think I'm going to take Slaughter Priest, because this is just very solid in Rakdos Sacrifice, and the cards for Gruul are not super great here. So I'll take the Slaughter Priest, leave us open to that if Gruul does not pan out. But Gruul's looking pretty solid here. We can take the 2-drop Skull of Grove Dancer. Pretty filler, mediocre. 2 mana creature, 2 mana 2/2. You can self-mill yourself to fuel your escape cards like Typhon, and maybe gain some life, but it costs a lot of mana, so generally you don't do that often. Or just Nylea's Forerunner. Giving your whole field trample is pretty good. It's also a 5 mana 5/3 trample, which will trade down into something, but it'll sneak through some damage with 5 power and trample. I think I'm going to take Forerunner. I'm just going to go for big beats in this deck if we do end up in Gruul. Nothing great in red, although Aspect of Manticore can be pretty solid. 3 mana instant speed. Give something +2/+0 and first strike until end of turn, and +2/+0 permanently. So you can trade up into something. Not even trade up, you're just trading Aspect of Manticore for something because your creature has first strike, so it'll survive. So this is pretty good. Nextborn Brute's not great. Just 3 toughness on a 5 mana card with no other effect. Foreigner's just like a lot better, giving all your stuff trample. I guess the best card in this pack is probably like One with the Stars, just a solid blue removal spell. So maybe we're supposed to just take the One with the Stars, just whatever's the best, because the rest of these cards are just not very exciting. I'm going to take Funeral Rites, I think, also for Rakdos. I think that's enough more interesting to me than the Aspect of Manticore, that I will just take the Rakdos card, although it's less likely to be what we play than Gruul. We could even end up in Golgari here, just take another Funeral Rites and be green-black Escape, fueling our Voracious Typhon with these Funeral Rites. I could see that happening. Cetessan Training's okay. It's pretty solid. I mean, you throw it on like a Typhon, now it's a 5/4 trample instead of a 4/4. You're also drawing a card when you do it, so it replaces itself. Nice little cantrip in that way. There's also Omen of the Hunt for splashing things in. Could splash in the Crone War off of this. Yeah, this actually seems solid. I'm going to go for Omen of the Hunt here. Maybe splash in red for our bomb rare. Well, now we're just going to take Rage Hound because I think it's the best like creature in this pack. There's also Traveler's Amulet to help splash. And this pack sucks. Yeah, the only cards in here are blue, and they're pretty standard filler stuff. Like, they're all solid. Not that crazy. Guess I'll take Starlit Mantle, because if we do end up blue, we'd be most looking for some random hexproof stuff to make our giant green creatures survive a removal spell. And we're just taking more blue cards because I guess that's just what's available. And Sage of Mysteries or Wings of Hubris. I guess we'll take Wings of Hubris. This can be okay in like a Gruul aggro deck because we already have, you know, a ton of 4/4 type stuff, just like big threats, and giving them flying in the late game can be really good. Like that could be a real deal, a real threat. Well, I'm not super happy with where we've ended up out of this first pack. I am really happy to open up Mantle of the Worth. One of the best bombs in the set. 4 mana for +4/+4. And when the Mantle's put into the graveyard, you're just getting two green wolves. So even if your opponent like immediately kills whatever you've Mantle of the Wolf, you're still getting like a better Dwarven Reinforcements out of this, if you remember Dwarven Reinforcements from Kaldheim. So really silly card. Obviously, if your opponent can't immediately kill whatever you put it on, all of a sudden your 4/4 Typhon is an 8/8, and they're just going to die really fast. So Mantle of the Wolf, pretty great rare to open up. That is going to push us into green even more, make us really not want to end up in Rakdos here. It was already pretty unlikely, now it's almost a 0% chance. I think I'll take another Voracious Typhon here, although Dreamshaper Shaman can be fun. It's a little interesting polymorph kind of effect. Getting a random card at the top every turn that you sacrifice something. Dreadful Apathy would be good in white. Just like off of a splash or something. An Underworld Ragehound is fine early game. I'm just going to take a Typhon. Nessian Hornbeetle is like the perfect 2-drop for the decks with a ton of 4-power creatures, because this is going to just get larger and larger over time and eventually become its own gigantic threat. So like we really want Hornbeetles, but at the same time, can we really pass up Warbriar Blessing? Just the great common removal spell. It's a really, really close pick to me. In terms of removal, right now we have the Fairies Band Brawler and the Akroan War. I love this Hornbeetle so much. I think I'm actually going to pass up on the Warbriar Blessing for it, because we like also need the early creatures to use Warbriar Blessing if we're ever using it as an early removal spell. But we can also just use it late game with these really big things, so I don't know. It's so close here, but I think Nessian Hornbeetle is so good with power 4 creatures. Such a potentially threatening card. I think we take the 3 mana 4/1 here, just get another 4-power creature. We could also take the Caryatid to ramp up into stuff. Also helps us splash, but I don't think we're splashing black. I think if we were going to do splashes, it would have been like green, black, splash red or something. Chimera or Caryatid? I'm going to take Chimera. I want more creatures that are just good threats to throw like Mantle on, and Caryatid is not one of those. But it does support our mana base a lot. Moss Viper, Tower Scout, Grove Dancer, Colossus. I mean, we're like green-red, so we're pretty aggro. So maybe we just want a 2-mana 2/2. It's also another card to throw Mantle onto. That would be better than throwing Mantle onto a Moss Viper. I don't think we want the 3/3. Just want like a 4/1s and stuff at 3 mana if we can get them. I don't know. I'm going to take Grove Dancer over the Moss Viper, but Moss Viper is a really good card. I just think it's probably a bit better in like green-black Escape, because you just like trade it off in the early game, have more cards in your grave to fuel that kind of stuff. Test and Training or Omen of the Forge. I guess I'll take Omen of the Forge. Since I passed up on that Warbriar Blessing earlier, we definitely want to pick up some forms of removal. Now we do have a Moss Viper again, Annihilia Huntmaster or Underworld Ragehound. Get the more aggressive card that combos real well with Mantle, or the 4-power creature that can buff some stuff. Solid stuff. I think I'll take the more aggressive creature. Take a Chimera. Final Flare's okay, but you want to have stuff that you're like fine with sacrificing for this. And in green-red, most of our creatures are going to be big stuff we never want to sacrifice. However, I guess with some Omens, you can sacrifice the Omens to use this. So we could sacrifice Omen of the Forge or sacrifice Omen of the Hunt to this. So that's a pretty good combo. Would give us another removal spell too. Just don't have a lot of creatures right now, and some of them are like really mediocre things we really want to cut, like Hero of the Games. Thrill of Possibility, Scophos War Leader here. Hero of the game's really not for our strategy at this point. So the draw spell or the 5 mana 4/5. I like the 5 mana 4/5 better than Nyxborn Brute for sure. Just higher toughness is generally better, and this has an ability that could crack in for lethal at the very late game. It also gives us a sacrifice outlet to go with our Crow and War, steal something and then sacrifice it to the War Leader. It's one of the very few cards we could even have in green-red that would care about sacrificing stuff. So I'm actually cool with the War Leader here for that reason. I don't think I want to take Portent. I don't want to be like green-red sacrifice and now really pushing on War Leader's effect. I just like the small amount of synergy that that had with the Crow and War. I think I'll take another Rage Hound, but it could be Dreamshaper Shaman here. Just as I said before, fun late-game polymorph style card. But going like triple Rage Hound, we can just 100% be the aggro deck here. Guess we take Tower Scout here. Not super thrilled about it. Grab some Nyxborn Colossi. Do the red-green cards in this pack suck? Kind of. The best one I'd say is probably Furious Rise for us. So we could take Temple of Abandon. Furious Rise is really good if you have the power 4 or greater creatures on the field. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess we can take Furious Rise, although I would like the red-green duel. This could wheel. It's like not impossible that this wheels, because the only deck that wants this is Gruul. This might be kind of a bold pick. I'm going to take the dual land and hope that Furious Rise wheels. We'll see how the bots draft. I don't know for sure. Another Voracious Typhon. I like Voracious Typhon, Heroes of the Revel, and Nessian Boar. Nessian Boar I'm not 100% sure about. It does kill your opponent's entire board, but they replace it by drawing all of those cards again. But I guess the way that you kill your opponent with this is you send in, they have to block with their whole field, and then they draw a ton of cards, so they could replace them all, but they have to replace them all, like, slowly. Because the odds of them, like, having the mana to immediately cast everything they just drew are not great. And this also does force all their creatures to block this specifically, so if you have lethal on your other creatures, it lets them all get through. It's a rare, I haven't played with it much. I'm going to try it out here. With Trample with Forerunner, it could be really nice, too, if your opponent just doesn't have many creatures out. Now we have Huntmaster or Final Flare. Another chance at picking up a Final Flare here to go with our Omens as another removal spell. I think I will pick it up, hopefully wheeling Huntmaster, because I would like that card. Now the Gruul cards kind of suck. I don't think I'm going to play Arena Trickster, but it's the closest. Definitely not going to play Colossi. Could play another War Leader. Just another power 4 or greater creature and a way to sacrifice stuff to a Crone War. And just a bunch more stuff I'm not playing, most likely. Ooh, Flummox Cyclops. I do like that. 4 mana for a 4-power creature. The reach doesn't matter too often, because this basically can never block. If your opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, it can't block, so the vast majority of the times you want to block with this, you can't. So it's basically, it's like Craven Hulk from Kaldheim in that sense, but it's still a solid attacker. We're going to have to make a lot of cuts to this deck. We did not wheel Furious Rise, and now I'm sad. I really want to see the decks that the bots draft, because I feel like a lot of the times they're just probably bad piles. Like, it could have been like a Rakdos Sacrifice deck, and they just go by how highly red players generally draft Furious Rise. So there could be some Rakdos Sacrifice deck that a bot drafted that has like 1 4-power creature, and they took our Furious Rise. You really never know with the quick drafts with the bot drafts. I do wish this were a Premier Draft here. That'd be pretty cool. Alright. I actually only have to cut 4 cards here. That is not as bad as I thought it would be in terms of cuts. Oh no, I left my Omen of the Forge style on. Get that out of here. See, this is why I don't buy the Mastery Pass anymore. Wizards is losing money by not giving me a really easy button to just shut off all the card styles. Because I would get the Mastery Pass if it didn't mandatorily turn all the card styles on during the draft. That just disgusts me. just personally do not like the card styles. I kind of think I want to just narrow it down to just a giant pile of creatures, because that's always fun to me. So I'm going to cut Wings of Hubris. Don't think I'm cutting any more non-creatures, though. And now we cut to help the curve a bit, cut a couple Colossi, and then one more card. Maybe an Oread, although that gives us good utility if we flood out. Oh, there's still a Hero of the Games in here. Get out of here. Get out of here, Hero of the Games. I'm never targeting you. I guess I would with Mantle of the Wolf, but that's pretty much the one time. Yeah, we'll get the Hero of the Games out of here. Just run this. Seems pretty fun, pretty solid. Just another Gruul Monsters deck. I guess I'll just draft that every time. Our red and green symbols are pretty similar, 11 and 12, so we can go 8, 8, and 1 Temple of Abandon. Let's play some Theros. Oh, I really like the artwork on our deck box, too. From the rare saga that we took. That's really neat, the Akroan War artwork. Alright, here we go. Game 1. We do get a turn 1 Temple of Abandon. Pretty solid stuff. Turn 2 Rage Hound. Start bashing in with that. We could just keep playing with the undercosted high power creatures here. 2 mana 3/1, 3 mana 4/1. Just go for high power stuff, try to clear out any blockers they have to make sure that they get in. Even if they don't get in, the fact that he's escape is great. Playing against green-white here. Green-white tends to be like green-white Enchantress. Looks like they're trying to trade here. We'll just let them. I'm not going to Omen the Forge here because I could tap out for a 4/1 instead if they trade. And then we've gotten one thing out of the way that could have blocked that. If they just play another 2 toughness creature, we just Omen the Forge here. But it's not likely because they just played... Okay. Alright, well. We win. Yay. I was going to say it's not super likely they play a 2-drop here because they played a 2-drop and then turn 2, stuck on 2 mana, played nothing. Yeah, look at that deck box art. That was so cool. I mean, I'll take it. That was not really a game. Opponent just got stuck on 2 mana and they were like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm going to start getting hit for 4 a turn. That's not fair. Might have been funnier if they gave us one more turn, because if we drew a basic land and then threw a Mantle of the Wolf onto the Chimera, then I would definitely understand the concession. Like, yeah, I'd concede 2. Not a fair game. We need to draw 1 land here, but if we do, if we're not against a very aggressive deck, our hand is very solid. It's definitely going to take over in the late game. And against white-blue that starts off with Birth of Melodis, like, yeah, we're going to survive. They're not going to kill us in the early game here. Well, now I've got a Underworld Rage Hound, so I have something to cast this turn, although it doesn't really affect the board in any way. Because it doesn't attack into a 0/4 well. They just block it every turn. I'm actually very happy they countered that. Because that means they don't have the counterspell for my Mantle of the Wolf, because this could exile an enchantment as well. Or even just a Flummox Cyclops or a Voracious Typhon. Any of these just better cards. I'm going to play Flummox Cyclops before Typhon here, because it also has reach, and sometimes people forget that, so I could eat their Sunmane Pegasus for free here. It's not likely. But it also holds off the Sunmane Pegasus from attacking me, whereas Typhon, I just play it and then they attack with Pegasus and whatever. So whether or not they realize my Cyclops has reach, it's better to play the Cyclops first. Oh my god, if they don't realize it has reach, this is about to be so bad for my opponent. Okay, they know it has reach. Alright. We are definitely going to try to play our Fairies Band Brawler to kill that. That is a target and a half right there. We've got 5 mana, so I need 1 more mana to kill that. I think we're just recasting the Cyclops, honestly. They have double white up, so they don't have a counter spell up. They need to remove the Cyclops if they want to get in with the Pegasus, because it can block as long as they haven't attacked with 2 or more creatures, and they can't attack with their wall. Daybreak Chimera, sure. They have the counterspell mana up. I don't like that. Really don't like that. I hit my mana for the Band Brawler, but they have counterspell mana up. That's brutal. Like, if I don't kill this Pegasus this turn, I don't think I'm winning this game. So I could play Voracious Typhon and Hornbeetle, or I could cast Mantle of the Wolf and Hornbeetle. Just go wide and try to race them, but they have a 3/4 lifelinker that's drawing them a card every turn if I can't kill that, like, right now. I'm going to attack with Cyclops first, because it won't be able to block anyway if they get to attack with both, like if they counter Band Brawler. And if they don't counter Band Brawler, the only thing I need to kill is the Pegasus. I can take 3. If they counter Fairy's Band Brawler, then I think we just lose. Okay. No counterspell. That feels good. Now we're actually in a pretty good spot, but they still have more cards in hand, still have more to play around with. Next turn we get to play Hornbeetle and throw a Mantle of the Wolf on something, although I think we just play Hornbeetle and Typhon. Shut off our reach blocker, so we are going to be getting hit for 3 a turn. We can definitely outrace this. Still not so concerned about the flyer here. So I'm down to 14, so it's getting a little iffy, but definitely with the cards in my hand, I can outrace this. You can play the thing that gives all our threats trample instead of the 4/4 here. Exile the Cyclops, sure. Yeah, now our field's getting real scary. We can even throw a Mantle of the Wolf onto the Hornbeetle so that the wall cannot block anything well. I think I would prefer to do that here. Send in with all 3. They just have no blocks for the wall. Yeah, they're down to 4 now. Drop down a Grove Dancer, may as well. There is one Wrath effect in the format, but it would destroy everything. It would let us draw a card, and we'd get 2 wolves out of the Mantle of the Wolf. Because the Wrath effect in this format lets everybody who had a creature with power 4 or greater out draw a card after the Wrath resolves. So, like, definitely, because we're getting 2 wolves and drawing a card, we can afford to throw the Grove Dancer out to make it even less likely they can just double removal spell out of this. Alright. We'll definitely take that one. 2 wins and no losses here with our beautiful Crowan War artwork deck box. Honestly, I just want to get out of the gameplay to just keep looking at that deck box. I was going to say death box. I've been playing too much Apex. Alright. Opponent goes first. We do have turn 2 Rage Hound. Although we do need to hit 1 more land. If we hit 1 more land, we hit Omen of the Hunt as well, which grabs our 4th land from our deck when it comes into play, and then it scries to hit our 5th land. I think this is serviceable. We're also drawing a card before we do anything. Like, we're on the draw here. I think we can definitely get there to our higher costs, especially with double Rage Hound now, giving us some threats carry added for our opponent, so they are going to be ramping up. Draw Temple of Abandon. Play that turn 3 because I can just go Rage Hound into Rage Hound and then drop Temple of Abandon. We'll trade Rage Hound with pretty much anything. It's got 1 toughness. We don't really have much of a choice there, but we're fine with it because they escape. Opponent grabs a Commanding Presence off of Heliod's Pilgrim. We're about to be in for a bad time, but hopefully our Mantle of the Wolf will make our opponent in for a worse time. So Commanding Presence gives a +2/+2 first strike, and whenever the creature does combat damage to a player, you get a 1/1. That is just, like, brutal. Hornbeetle on the top. I would love to keep that, but I just can't afford to miss land drops. Like, they could even just throw Commanding Presence onto carry added, and then all of a sudden I'm taking 3 a turn and they're getting 1/1 tokens every turn. So that could be a thing. Yeah, Transcendent Envoy makes it cost 1 less, so they just get to throw it on the Envoy here. I guess I just Final Flare, sacrifice Rage Hound to kill the Envoy. I can do that at instant speed and they're white-green. In white-green, they could have Indomitable Will to give +1/+2 to this at instant speed, so I think if I want to kill it, I kill it right now. I do really want to kill it. Yeah, since Ragehound has to attack in anyway, they can just block Ragehound with First Strike. They didn't block, though, so I guess we get the damage in. But that's another way I'll justify this, is like, if they wanted to kill our Ragehound at 0 cost to them, they could have done it anyway. So our Ragehound was already not long for this world. So we'll justify the slaughter of the poor puppy that way. Birth of Melodus for our opponent grabs a Plains, spits out a 0/4 and gains a couple life. Entrancing Liar, so they are setting up for the long game. I'm happy to see that, because I think we have solid stuff if this game goes long. Now we're just going to do an Omen of the Hunt, so we have 5 mana next turn, drop down a War Leader. They probably tap it down with Liar, but then we play another threat, the Fairies Band Brawler, killing their Caryatid, or whatever their best threat is at that point. Definitely don't think I'm thrilled of Possibilitying right now. I like all of these cards. Hopefully this is all they got here. We're just taking 2 a turn for a bit. Looks to be the case. Alright. Let's get some mana. Grab another forest. War Leader gets to come out now. We also have a Hyrax Tower Scout. Could double spell with that and a Thrill of Possibility next turn. Let's just play our 4/5. They can't attack in well with any of their cards now until they tap down our War Leader with the Liar. Trancing Liar will be pretty annoying for us. We are just hoping to hit a land for our Brawler now. They have... Oh wow, they're going to throw Hydra's Growth onto the Chainweb Arachneer. Well, now we need to hit the mana right now. Well, that's brutal. Because next turn, this gets... What, they double the counters on it? I guess it gets 1 more counter next turn, so we have 1 more turn to draw the mana we need to kill the Chainweb Arachneer. And even when they kill it, they get to escape it now because they have 4 cards in their grave. I will Thrill of Possibility, discarding Grove Dancer here to draw 2 to try to hit a land. If I don't hit a land immediately, I'll sacrifice Omen of the Hunt to scry 2 to hit 1 next turn. If I do, I get to play my Tower Scout, untap War Leader. Oh my god. Alright, I guess we didn't hit the land, so I have to just sacrifice Omen of the Hunt here. That's pretty brutal. Alright, Arachneer is a 3/4 now. Last chance for land. Gotta be a land in the next top 3. Alright, we did hit a land. There's a mountain. We have an Omen of the Forge coming up as well. I do like that to shoot Caryatid and scry more. See if they have a instant speed pump spell here. That would be pretty bad. Alright, no, we get to kill the Chainweb. They do get to escape it, and it'll come back as a 4/5, so we can't block that well. But if we throw Mantle of the Wolf on our Brawler, we can. Don't know if I really want to do that. We can also just double block it with like Tower Scout and the Brawler. We have enough creatures here. I think we just go wide to block it, play a Horn Beetle, and have that be our potential threat. Our own little Hydra growth in a can. Getting bigger every turn, till eventually this is the largest thing on board, and just keep swinging with that. Well, they've got the removal for Brawler. Tower Scout still untaps War Leader, but then they just retap it with Liar. That's a 4/7 attacker, so I need a 5 toughness blocker, basically. I think we're still on the Tower Scout Horn Beetle plan. We're probably taking 4 from Arachneer this turn because they're just going to retap the War Leader. If they only do 4 mana, we could sacrifice the Tower Scout so that it doesn't get tapped. Ooh. Oh wait, no, they still have 4 mana up with Caryatid. 5 mana because of its double ability. Yeah, no, I don't think it's worth sacrificing a creature to counter the Liar for 1 turn. They could tap down the Hornbeetle here. Solid. That means we actually do get to block Arachneer. If they send it. Nice, which means we have Stabilize and they're just not sending in. So I can play Typhon and hold up Omen of the Forge. We do need to win this game eventually, but for now I think since I'm down to 11, I'm still just trying to make my field as big as possible. So there's no way that Liar breaks through my stuff. Yeah, I'll play Typhon, Omen of the Forge on their Caryatid. I've got 6 mana, so then I could scry in my upkeep, but then I don't have 4 up, so I don't think I'm going to do the upkeep scry thing. She'll land for our opponents. We are going to Omen of the Forge on whatever we can kill, which is only a 1/1 right now, but it's still something. Clears the way a little bit. Loathsome Chimera. So now, are we kind of just on the Mantle of the Wolf plan and hoping that they don't have a way to stop it? I guess they have the Entrancing Liar. They can then use the Liar on whatever we throw Mantle of the Wolf on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 mana exactly. So if I throw it on War Leader, that's an 8 power attacker. And I could sacrifice Omen of the Forge to make it 9 power and try to counter the Liar for a turn off of that. It's an 8/9, so they don't have enough power to kill it either. Even if they double block, they're doing 8. Yeah, so now they're trying to tap down War Leader, and if they tap that down, then Hornbeetle's untapped, and it attacks as like a 6/6. Ooh, we're hitting for 8 here. Seems solid. They have to have another land to tap it down. We'll see if they do. Typhon, so they didn't get the land. Well, they did get the land, they just don't want to tap down the War Leader here, I guess. Could want to crack in. Nope, going to my turn. Sure. So an 8/9, now they have a 6/3, a 5/5, and a 4/7, so they could block with... What, that's 10 toughness if they block with the 4/7 and the 6/3. I could kill them both if I sacrifice 2 things, so I would sacrifice Tower Scout and Omen of the Forge. If they block with the 5/5 and the 4/7, though, I only get to kill one of those. Hornbeetle should eventually get us there still, so maybe I'm on that plan. Maybe we're even going wide. Now that they're down to 11, they have 4 blockers here. I can sacrifice Mantle of the Wolf at any time with this effect to get 2 more attackers. So I've got 6 attackers, essentially. So we're getting in for at least 4 right now. Each creature we add to this board adds another, basically, couple damage that we could get in for. So throwing Chimera out seems good, and then we're probably just sacrificing Omen here. I don't really like dropping Ragehound down right now. We don't want to drop down Ragehound until we know we're attacking next turn. Right now I don't know that. They're just going to re-tap the Hornbeetle. I just don't think we have good attacks with the War Leader anymore. Can only buff it up to 10, as I said before, so they double block with 5/5 and 4/7 and have a swell time. Let's scry some here. Glad I did that. So, can play a Cyclops and a Ragehound. I suppose I'm attacking in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers against their 4. So 4 things are getting through. They block the biggest things. That'd be 4 things. They block 4 power things. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They would go to 1 if I attack with everything next turn. So I think I wait one more turn, drop a Rage Hound, and escape a Rage Hound. We're not going to get any more power off of War Leader the turn we're attacking with it, because we have to sacrifice Mantle of the Wolf when it's not our turn. That way the Wolf tokens can attack. I could also even just... Actually, whenever I'm going to sacrifice the Mantle of the Wolf, I should have just attacked with War Leader, because I don't have to sacrifice it. I can also just let War Leader die, because then I'm clearing one of their creatures out and putting 2 more on my board. Oh, Nessian Boar? Alright, well then we just mega win. Alright. They have to kill Nessian Boar or Liar it down. They have 9. They need to draw land here to Liar down the Nessian Boar. Maybe I shouldn't have played Underworld Rage Hound yet again, because we're only attacking with the boar if they can't Liar it, you know? Maybe they can Liar it here. They do just need a land. They probably have one they've been sandbagging, or just have a removal spell. Yeah, there's the land. Well, sorry, boar. Yeah, I probably should have kept my mana up, not played the Rage Hound this turn, so I'm not forced into attack this turn. Oh my god, they drop a Grove Dancer? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 mana up? They have got to have removal for Nessian Boar. Straight up. They have 1 card in hand now? They don't. All creatures able to block it do so. Okay. Well. Could have just tapped down the board, but now they have to just block all on the board, I guess. Alright, well. That was a kind of a weird ending to that one, but definitely Nessian Boar showing off the power of that first ability there. Letting all of your other creatures get in. We are 3-0 with our Gruul Monsters deck. Power 4 Raider, stompy stuff. Seems like a fun time all around. Borborygmos would approve. Opponent is going first, but we have our Crow in War this game. This will be the first time we actually cast our pick one, pack one, but not the first time we cast Mantle of the Wolf. We're just casting that every game like a fair player. Hateful Eidolon will start things off for our opponent, so they're definitely playing a lot of Mire's Grasp and stuff like that. Maybe even some auras on their own creatures. We'll see what their second color is. Black-red, so probably black-red sacrifice. I would expect most of their auras to be cards like Mire's Grasp to go with Hateful Eidolon. We'll trade Rage Hounds here if they offer it. Actually, they have to offer it. Underworld Rage Hound attacks every turn. I guess, like, if they don't Mire's Grasp us, we'll trade Rage Hounds is what I more meant. Probably playing Tower Scout this turn, just have a 3-3 on the board. If they have Mire's Grasp, they'll obviously use it there, but if they don't, 3-3 is definitely big enough to block a 1-2. So we hold down the fort that way. And we've got a Traveler's Amulet here, so just 3 cards in hand. It's maybe a game where we just go off with Mantle of the Wolf, as you do. It all depends on if they kill Hyrex Tower Scout right now. If they tap out for something else, Mantle of the Wolf is going to just be a fun time. Turn our Tower Scout into a 7-7. Alright, Death Toucher it is. That'll hold us off of the Mantle of the Wolf plan for now, but we can steal their Mire Triton. And then use Mantle. I have a Flummoxed Cyclops as well. Do I want to steal Triton and just start slapping our opponent? I guess a Crone War isn't even very good in this matchup because they will be forced into an attack next turn, which is good for us, so we could trade their own creature against their stuff. But it's not like killing a bunch of tapped creatures here. We're definitely not playing Mantle right now. I guess we could trade with Triton, get a couple 2/2s. That's essentially just casting Dwarven Reinforcements when Mantle of the Wolf can do so much more. I go for the Akroan War on the Triton. Feels a little weird, because we could get so much more out of this if we do it later, but I just don't see anything that's, like, better right now. This does potentially set us up into Mantle of the Wolf next turn, which is like by far our best play. Got 5 mana up here. Definitely makes Mantle of the Wolf look pretty risky, pretty concerning. I think we just slam in, drop down a Flummox Cyclops, because unless they play a Haster, we can still just block their Eidolon with that and trade there. Really don't want to drop down Mantle of the Wolf against 5 untapped mana, but this could just be them not wanting to play creatures this turn. We'll see. Could also be Final Death, though. It could be like any red or black removal in the format. Most of it is instant speed and 5 mana or less. Pretty much all of it's 5 mana or less. Most of it's instant. Alright, nothing. They have to attack this turn, so if they have the removal, they might use it on Cyclops now. Might have been worth it to just hold off on the Triton attack there, because they do get the Triton back. It obviously only blocks once here. I'm just bringing back Ragehound, I guess. A block we shall take. No, oh my god, I have the I hate Arena so much sometimes. I had a response to the ability. Sacrifice their Mire Triton to Final Flare to kill their Ragehound. But Arena's like, you don't need to do anything right now. We're just going to skip right into your main phase. Cool. You can see how I hit full control mode like 1 millisecond too late. That's pretty brutal. I don't know why Arena would not ask if you want to do anything and just skip right past all of that. Well, we've got Fairies Band Brawler next turn. We're still in a good position. That is just pretty infuriating. Their board should be clear right now. Mantle of the Wolf on Cyclops, we trade everything off, get 2 2/2s, and then I have a Fairies Band Brawler left over. I might lose this game because Arena just decided I don't need to do anything in response to my Saga. Well, we're on tilt now, so that is an aspect we need to deal with. They keep the Ragehound on board. Interesting. Would have expected the trade for the 3/3. Because on attacks, it's just going to trade for a 2/2. Omen of the Forge for one of the 2/2s. Okay, 2 cards left in their hand. With the Omens as well, it should by default stop during your upkeep. You shouldn't have to like click that. I'm actually just going to take this, because we can probably fight off any blocker they play here and then hit in for 5. Yeah, definitely with a 3-1 we can do that. Hopefully they're just holding for the Omen of the Forge sacrifice effect. If it's like a second Omen of the Forge, they could just shoot our Brawler here, and then we still kill their Rage Hound. It'd be a trade instead. A Final Flare. Off for the trade. Trade into the 3-3, take 2, down to 11. Taking 4 a turn now. Just a million Rage Hounds. Well, Typhon is pretty good. Because if we escape that, that's just going to be bigger than all these Rage Hounds. Play our Oread as well. Just block both the Rage Hounds here. Seven cards engraved, so we can escape Typhon. We can probably do it twice. War Leader's pretty good for our opponent. Now we're going to actually have to sacrifice one of our cards instead of theirs. I do need to hit another land for Typhon if I discard this to Oread, so I don't think I can afford to discard this, although that would make use of all 6 of my mana, which would be fun. I'm just going to cast Typhon first. We can Final Flare later. Give us one more draw step to see if I draw another basic and then just discard it to Oread before I sacrifice Oread. Five cards in their grave. 2 of them are Rage Hounds. So they'll be down to 2 cards in grave when they bring a Rage Hound back. Ox of Aganos, discard their hand, draw 3. Seems good. They can escape it, exiling 8 cards. They drew to another Rage Hound. Alright. We did draw into another land for Oread. Definitely discard that. Drew into our Rage Hound. This can attack in against everything they have except their 4/5. So I do like casting it here, but I would have ideally had 1 more mana so I could hold up Final Flare and cast this. It's a little risky not holding up the Final Flare. But I'm going to do it. Pending Doom. Well, now we definitely wish we had Final Flare to kill that right there. I can't give it Menace here, but then it's just an 8/8 Menace, so I still just double block and kill it at the cost of just my Typhon. And I do 3 to him off of that. Unless they have more to stack up on this. Oh my god. First strike. +2 power. Double block. I can't double block with Rage Hound because Rage Hound has to attack. I guess I can play a Rage Hound to block there and shoot Aganos. They have 7 in grave for all these Rage Hounds. I'm over it. I'm really infuriated at the arena programming to not have a stop on my Saga there. That was a brutally rough way to lose that game, because we definitely would have killed them a few turns ago if we had been able to just wipe their board off of that final flare. Alright, well, we're heading into round 5 now. At least we get more games out of this way. If it went 7-0, it's not maximizing the amount of games. Let's do a 9-game run here. Turn to Nessian Hornbeetle with the 4-mana, 4-power creatures. Pretty great. We also have a Nessian Boar coming out in the late game. Be very solid. Moss Viper is definitely going to hold us off. Do not like seeing that card in a Gruul Monsters deck. So, you're just not attacking in well forever. Gotta wait till we draw removal, or just trump attack with something. Omen of the Hunt here. Could ramp us up. We could also just play the 4-1 and offer that trade. I think I like playing the 4-1. It gets the Hornbeetle off the ground running. If they have the Exile counterspell, that would be kind of bad, but I don't think we're going to bank around that, and it would probably be better to get it out of the way on Chimera than later on a Boar. Voracious Typhon, so we could trade Typhon into Chimera here. I think either way we trade, we're happy. We do trade for the Viper. So now we get to play the Flummoxed Cyclops so that Hornbeetle keeps getting counters. I guess we could also just play a 4-5 next turn and it can keep getting counters, and a 4-5 is big enough to block Typhon and survive. So maybe we just hold off for Omen of the Hunt so we can guarantee a 4-5 next turn. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to Omen of the Hunt, grab a Mountain. Traveler's Amulet from our opponent. Can grab a basic land. They scoop up a Mountain, so they are splashing in red here. Cast a Chainweb Arachneer, sure. Send in for 4, and we take it. And we will Omen of the Hunt for our 5th land. Could also just cast Nessian Boar and try to just wipe their field. Would draw them some cards, though. I think a 4-5 is just like far and above good enough for this board that we're just casting it here. We get to send in. They probably block with Arachneer, but we still get to send in with a 5-5. We can also just leave back a 5-5 and a 4-5 as blockers if we're worried about removal. Not super worried. If they remove everything from our field, they're dueling 5, we go down to 10. Which is scary, but it's pretty unlikely they remove our whole field. I guess they could still kill just War Leader and we take 5. Then we still have a 5-5 pressuring them back. It's a test and training to make Typhon a 4-5 trample. That would make it a trade. Guess we're just not blocking here. We can race this. We're doing more than 5 to them a turn if we can get around Arachneer. Eidolon of Philosophy. Ooh, Brawler is pretty great here. Kill one of those cards and get another 4-power creature on this board. Nessian Boar is pretty awesome here too. Nessian Boar makes sure that we get in for a lot next turn. They have 2 cards engraved. They don't have enough for Arachneer. I think we just attack both, play Brawler. I guess Boar does make lethal next turn, so maybe we are just playing Boar. I suppose it depends on what happens here. If they like double block, I guess Boar would not be lethal. Alright. Kill Arachneer, they can recast it. They're doing 6 to us on board. If they have like Mantle of the Wolf, we're dead, but that's like a rare, so it's pretty unlikely. I think we just dropped the Nessian Boar over the Brawler, because the Brawler's just going to kill Eidolon. We could trade Brawler into Typhon, that doesn't seem great. Although it would get their only threat off the board. Just going to go all in. Cast a Nessian board. They probably just have like a counter spell here for 3. The exile a creature spell. Or Boar might get there. Because Boar also blocks Typhon, so like in 2 ways this is great if they don't have removal. 3 mana up, nothing instant speed. They have 6 mana available to them. They could have their own Brawler, which looks really sad on this board when all my stuff has 5 or 6 toughness. They can play any number of blockers and we'll still have lethal here. I don't think they could have anything to deal 10 damage off of this attack. Final Flare doesn't hit players. I feel like this is a desperate attempt to kill the Boar with an Omen of the Fire or something like that. I'm not gonna block. Or just any pump spell, really. I mean, if they just kill the Boar after that, they snuck in 5 extra damage. But then they would have just killed the Boar pre-combat. So it's a Voracious Typhon. Attack all should be lethal. Hornbeetle goes to 7 power. That's 11. Everything blocks Boar. If it somehow ends up not being lethal, we still have ways to try to not die. Like we play Brawler, kill Eidolon, and block their Typhon. We take 4, go to 1. And then probably crack back for lethal the next turn if something goes heinously wrong here. We've got Mantle of the Wolf as well. I don't think that matters here. I think we're just slamming the attack. Their best play with 2 mana up would be like a bounce spell, return Boar to our hand. If they return Boar to our hand and we're attacking just these 2, they still have to attack block one of them. So they block Eidolon onto the Hornbeetle. If I play Mantle of the Wolf, I don't think that changes anything because I could play Mantle onto like War Leader and then it's 8 power there. Then they just have to block Hornbeetle there and they just take the 8. Yeah, Mantle doesn't really change things, so I think I just slam the all attack here. Like either way, if they can bounce Boar, which is their best play, they can you just chump block one thing with Eidolon and survive. Alright, I mean that's 11. They do get 2 draw steps here to draw a bounce spell and bounce one of these instead. Stern Dismissal, it would be. If they had it before the draw, they would have just used it on Boar. Alright, Omen of the Forge it was. So glad I did not block that Typhon then. Because that would have traded up into the Boar and stopped the lethal this turn. Alright, so we are 4-1 now. A spiritual 5-0. I guess I don't know for sure if we would have won that game that we could have sacrificed our opponent's creature. We'll just stick to 4-1. That's good enough for me. Whatever happens here, we're at least 4-3 with this deck. Nice, solid win rate. Hornbeetle turn 2, you love to see it. I'm very happy I took Hornbeetle over whatever removal spell I was considering. I think it was a Warbriar Blessing, but I think the Hornbeetle has been putting in work. Card is just sick in the green-red deck. Pretty interesting curve here. Turn 2 Hornbeetle, turn 3 Omen, turn 4 Cyclops. Not bad at all. I could even consider just playing the Grove Dancer first, so that might get caught up in any early game removal and not our Hornbeetle. But if they're playing white, their removal is going to pretty much all be stuff that would kill any size of creature. I actually want to play Grove Dancer over Omen of the Hunt, because I already have 6 lands in hand. Like, I have as much lands as I'll ever need. Omen of the Hunt just lets me play them faster, which I don't need right now, because I just have a 4-drop at the top end of this curve. They could flash in the 2-2 flyer and we trade there. I think I'm fine with that. Luckily, they did not have the Flash Flyer, which I'm pretty happy with. Oh, they did. They did. They didn't want to trade with Hornbeetle. Interesting. I guess I know what's in my deck. They don't know what's in my deck. Knowing what's in my deck and in my hand, I would have absolutely traded with Hornbeetle, but they don't know that I have a bunch of ways to pay off the Hornbeetle here. And they probably have like plenty of removal they can just use on it later if it gets bigger. That could be another consideration. Having a bunch of Dreadful Apathies makes you less likely to want to trade your creatures off. Interesting, so they may be trying to do some kind of pump spell on a block here. Could do double goal to block something. I mean, white-blue here. So they could have the +1/+2 flash enchantment. That doesn't really pan out that poorly for me. The only thing I could possibly see this being is them flashing in another goal and just double blocking. But I also don't know the set very well. There is a +2/+2 spell for 1 mana. Okay, -4 and scry a couple. That is fine. Scrying both to the bottom, probably trying to hit lands over there. So they are taking 4 here, down to 11, and Hornbeetle's going to be 5 power next turn. Alright, just stuck on mana a little too much. The Hornbeetle will really put that pressure on you, but most decks with most average hands there would have probably pressured our opponent too hard there. Not great draws for them. That is certain. So we are at 5-1, 650 gems back out of this. Pretty close to breaking even. If we opened up 4 or 5 rares, that'd be breaking even, because each rare mythic is worth around 20 gems. Once you complete the set, that's what they give you for each one. So that's just kind of how I value them. Commons and uncommons are pretty much worthless, at least to me. I have loads and loads of wild cards. As a content creator who drafts a ton for videos, it's all about the gems. If I'm trying to get value back out of the drafts to help afford the other ones. All right. Round a lot. Kosher Funk. I've played against them a lot. They are definitely a limited grinder. I have seen that name around a ton. So here we have double Ragehound. We're not on the play, which is less than ideal, but we have Mantle of the Wolf and Nessian Boar later. Like, if we hit lands, this hand is great. And we're on the draw, which gives us a little more time to draw those lands, because we are drawing turn 1. I'm going to keep this. We are definitely hoping to hit lands, but this is a hand that if we do, we get access to the most powerful cards in our deck. All Seed of Life's Bounty is pretty good against these Ragehounds. Probably going to start off with an Omen of the Forge just to kill that thing, get it out of the way. Guess that would be... Well, now I kind of want to start with Orietta Mountain's Blaze. Yeah, that kind of just blocks it well. Omen of the Forge plays into the 2-mana pump spell like a lot. The 2-mana +1/+2 flash enchantment. Well, now I know they're stuck on 2 here. So I think... I do want to get aggressive. I think I play a Ragehound and then Omen that Life's Bounty next turn so it gets in. Rather stop their lifelink than hit them for 1. If I hit them for 1, they go to 20, and then they just crack back, go to 21 again. So I basically didn't hit them by attacking with this. Basically the same either way. I did hit my 3rd land now. Find out if I get to kill this All-Seed, I guess. They could have the +1/+2 enchantment, but at this point I have a Ragehound that's about to attack, so I just have to go for it. Have to hope it works out, and it did, so we get to hit for 4 here. Omen of the Sun, pretty good against the Ragehounds. Flash in a couple 1/1 chump blockers, but good enough to trade in with the 3/1. Elspeth's Nightmare, kill Oriad. Opponent's certainly getting the value plays off. Trading 1/2 of their card for our 1 card, and then trading 1/3 of their card for our 1 card. Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, you don't know how badly I want to concede right now that I have nothing to throw Mantle of the Wolf onto, so they get to get rid of a Mantle of the Wolf with Elspeth's Nightmare. That's actually probably the most insane I've seen Elspeth's Nightmare be in Limited. That's devastating. Yeah, that's legitimately pretty terrible. I think we're just single-handedly losing to Elspeth's Nightmare this game. This thing is 3 for 1-ing us bad. Like, it killed our creature, now it's killing the best rare in our whole deck, and then it's going to exile our graveyard so we can't even escape our cards anymore. After them basically 2 for 1-ing us with Omen of the Sun as well. Opponent really had the cards to play against this hand. Typhon's a good draw. Attack in with everybody. I'm not going to Final Flare to kill the 1/1. I guess it would save Rage Hound. They do get to exile my graveyard here. Yeah, because they're exiling my graveyard, I should probably save my Rage Hound. Which feels pretty bad. To shoot a 1/1 with my Final Flare. Because the Rage Hound has no choice but to attack, so I have to send into their 1/1. Oh, if they cast another Omen of the Sun, I might just scoop them up out of embarrassment. Then I'll have gotten like 7 for 1 throughout this game. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's pretty much another Omen of the Sun. Oh yeah. You know, I'm gonna scoop them. We're gonna preemptive scoop here. Our graveyard's gone. We have a 4/4 and a Nessian board coming up. I'm fine scooping. They've got like Scry 2 coming up as well, with cards in the hand that we know are not lands because they got stuck on lands a little bit. So they probably have 2 more removal spells. That is just an embarrassing game I don't want to continue at that point. I think out of all of my games in the past couple months, that was the game that I was the least likely to lose that I've conceded. You know, it was probably only like a 75% chance to lose that game. Because we don't know what's in their hand. It could have been garbage. If their hand was garbage, we could maybe get there with our 4/4 and our 10/6 eventually. But if it's just one removal spell, they can just trump the 4/4 for a while, kill the 10/6, they scry 2 into better cards. Opponent by far had the value that game. Alright, well, we're going to keep this again. Mantle of the Wolf Nessian board, don't do it to us again. Our opponent's going to play all of the exact same cards we just got by. And it'll be a sad time. We'll see. We'll see how this pans out. Pious Wayfarer. So we're against a hyper aggro deck. That is the only time you play Pious Wayfarer. Is if you're like, alright, I'm just going to ramp out with my creatures super fast. Mirror Shield. Give something +0/+2 and hexproof. Shuts off Death Touch, but I don't have any Death Touch, so it's just +0/+2 hexproof. I guess that makes the Wayfinder a 1/4, so Underworld Ragehound doesn't do anything here. So we play a 1/3 and just block stuff. We actually drew all 3 of our rares here. War, Mantle of the Wolf, and Nessian Boar. Hopefully a Crow and War can do some stuff. We're definitely going to put a stop at the start of our turn so we can actually Final Flare here. Alright, well they put Heliod's Punishment on Oread, which means basically it's pacified for 4 turns. It's got to work off the punishment. It's a really flavorful removal spell, really cool card. Our only play is Underworld Ragehound, which they respond by equipping a Mirror Shield to Pious Wayfinder and just letting our Ragehound die. So I honestly don't think we even cast it. I think we're just waiting for land 3 here to Omen of the Hunt, and then we can cast everything but our boar. See, they're even going to throw the shield on anyway. That makes me even happier that I didn't play Ragehound, because like the biggest reason that there would have been to still play Ragehound is at least then we're forcing them to spend their mana on that rather than doing anything else. The fact that when I have no pressure on their board, the best play they had was still to just equip Mirror Shield makes me so happy I didn't just play Ragehound, because that, yeah, as I said before, plays into it really, really majorly. I guess we have Tower Scout to untap Oread and get another counter off of this to speed that up. That's a really cute combo. If I just ramp into my 4-drops here, they aren't actually even doing anything. I just steal one of their creatures. They're hexproof anyway. And Mantle of the Wolf, I don't have anything to put it on. So we're actually playing Tower Scout. That was a really good draw. Really fun combo. My Tower Scout helping out. Helping get the Oread out of its punishment. That's incredibly cute. The power of friendship. Alright, Captivating Unicorn. 5 mana 4/4. Whenever an enchantment enters their battlefield, they get to tap down one of my cards. So Oread isn't really going to do anything until I have enough mana that I have extra lands to discard. So I'm kind of considering Final Flaring the Unicorn, but even just playing Chimera, if they don't play an enchantment, I get to trade Chimera into it, which is pretty good. If they do play an enchantment, I take 5 from it, I guess, because they give it +1/+1 and tap down my Chimera. It's not that bad. I don't think I'm ramping into the Mantle here still. I think I'm still just trying to interact with what they've set on this board, rather than provide my own threats yet. Because if we can survive past this initial onslaught, we have the card advantage. We've got the late game. We have all of this still to do. They only have 3 cards. Oh yeah, they can just move the Mirror Shield over. We can double block though. This doesn't do anything if they don't play an enchantment to follow it up. Ooh, that's about the most brutal enchantment they could have had here. Make us discard 2, tap down one of our creatures, make that a 5/7 on the attacks. We have no blocks available. They gain 5, and we discard 2. Pretty bad for us. That was about the best follow-up they could have had to really shut off the loathsome Chimera play, because now, in hindsight, we absolutely should have Final Flared. Discard the Ragehound, it's not going to be good on this board. Crone War is really awkward against the Hexproof, but I think we discard the Omen. We're just trying to draw 1 land. '5/7 Lifelinker, definitely going to put in work here. Final Flare, not going to do anything for us. Probably discarding that to Oread, honestly. Go for like a really big block here. I can wait on the Oread till the end of their turn, same with Final Flare. They're both instant speed effects. Pious Wayfarer, do they have another enchantment? They don't have another enchantment. Okay, if they don't have another enchantment, we're safe here. Nice. They're just going to our turn. I have 2 cards in graveyard. Crone War is actually going to be good here. It's going to force them into attacks. Which is going to kill just all their stuff. If it forces them into attacks at a bad time. I do think I really need to hit the land, so I'm discarding like a Typhon here, because now we're just trying to cast like a Crone War. Maybe we are discarding Boar. That's the card we're the farthest from, and we aren't going to need that to close out this game, I think. We could also just end up with enough stuff engraved to escape Typhon eventually. Yeah, Boar might be a little win more with this hand. Well, didn't have to discard anything, apparently. We are definitely going to a Crow and War right now to get that forced attack next turn. Force the 1/2s to attack into like the 3/3s to kill those. Just trade there, kill that, and then do like the double block there on the Unicorn. Of course, if they draw into an enchantment, that would be bad, because then they can make the forced attack actually in their favor. Alright, they drew nothing yet. Now we have a War Leader coming up as well. We know they have to attack this next turn, so I kind of want to hold up Final Flare. With Hexproof on the Unicorn, Final Flare isn't really going to help us out. So I think I'm just playing another good blocker, playing a Typhon, so we know we have good blocks on the Unicorn. I'm going to stop on my upkeep and see if I can actually Final Flare their creature against them if it doesn't die here somehow. Banishing Light. I think even if they use that on the Crow and War, the trigger's already on the stack. But they can make the third part go off, but that doesn't really matter. So they probably Banishing Light the Typhon. The problem is this is an enchantment, which means that all their creatures can get a lot bigger and they can actually attack well here, so pretty brutal for us. They drew the enchantment on the exact turn that they needed it here. I guess they had 2 turns to draw it. If they drew it last turn, they could have just held it in their hand and then done it now. Just gonna make the Unicorn really big. Sure. Make it 8 toughness. I only have 7 power. I mean, that'll do it. Get to kill the rest of their creatures, though. We're not Final Flaring anything. It's so dumb. Chump or I go to 5. I'm against white-black. They could have, like, Grey Merchant of Asphodel to, like, drain me out here. No, let's go to 5. Get to exile a card from their grave. Interesting. I guess a Leonin. Yeah, I mean, I can Final Flare the Crow and War at them. Only at a creature, though, so can't. So, now what? It's a 4/6. I just need to leave Tower Scout and a Chimera back unless they top deck another enchantment. So do I Mantle of the Wolf? 4/6 means a 7/7 is good enough to attack in and block against it. Play Mantle of the Wolf on Tower Scout, attack 7. Then I don't have blocks for it, though. I need more power. I need 6 power held back. So I could just Mantle the Wolf on Tower Scout and just hold. I guess I can sacrifice the Mantle of the Wolf for Final Flare at instant speed. And get the wolves out of it. Just kill my own Oriat or something. I need 7 mana to do that though, so I actually can't. I guess I just play War Leader for now, because I need to set up to have enough power to block with and send a Mantle in on attacks. And now I think I have that, because I can double block with these 2 4-power creatures. If they tap down one of them, that's not ideal, but I can chump block. Because they don't have the Wayfarers anymore, so they're just doing 4. There isn't going to be any like really explosive swings or anything. Temple Thief can't be blocked by enchanted or enchantment creatures. Okay, doesn't really matter. Just a 2-mana 2/2 here. pretty much. I might even be discarding Final Flare here. I don't think so. I think I hold off to draw another land. Typhon's pretty good. Double block. Double block doesn't kill Tower Scout still, so we're still just sending in. Getting even more blockers here. Down to 21. That's 3 swings from dead to this, but they have a 4-power lifelinker out, so we'll definitely take more time. That being said, I'm pretty sure we got time. We've drawn a lot more creatures than our opponent, and there's our land to discard. War Leader it is. We've got a Temple of Abandon. I guess I'd rather draw one than scry one, so I'll just hold this in my hand to discard to Oread. The chump block happens. Transcendent Envoy. We have no reach over here. Since we have no reach, we probably need to blow that up with a Final Flare. Tap down the 4/5. I mean, it hits us for 1 a turn, so we don't need to kill it immediately. Just discard this land first. Another land. Another land. We only need 3 mana to use the flare. 6 mana. Could have 7 mana here. That's enough to play War Leader and do something for 2 mana, but not hold up flare. I do want to hold up flare just in case they have some really crazy pump spell. So I don't think I'm playing War Leader here, but I can discard a land. Alright, well, I'm just going to play this one. That way next turn I can play this War Leader and hold up flare. Just playing it real safe here, because if we play it safe, we've got pretty much everything covered, I think. Unless they have a Kaya somehow, but Kaya's not even in this set. We can beat an Elspeth. Elspeth's pretty weak. If they go Island to Ashiok, that's about the only thing I can think of that we mega die to. Go for the block here. See what this is. It's a trick, it'll be a bad time for us because they're going to have a big old lifelinker. Flicker of Fate. Exile a creature enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control on Tower Scout. So we get the 2/2s and then we get the Tower Scout back on this board. That's pretty rough, because now we need to get around this unicorn somehow. We could use the War Leaders. If both of our War Leaders attack for 7, we can get around the unicorn with Menace. But I guess, yeah, we just kill the Envoy now and we try to Menace through one at a time. I mean, we don't have anything to tap, so it's whatever. I do have 9 cards in grave, so we could send in a Chump attack with Typhon to bring it back as a 7/7. I can even sacrifice that to the Flare to bring it back as a 7/7. Well, now we can't cast spells from graveyards, so now we're not sacrificing Typhon. I think we still... We don't have any reach, so I think I still want to kill Envoy, but... I don't know. I don't think they can attack with Envoy unless they draw a pump spell for it, so I'm actually going to kill that with Typhon and bring back Typhon. We'll stick to that plan. The War Leaders we can double pump because we have double red. So... Actually, yeah, I can attack with both of these, and just if they block with Unicorn, I just double pump. If they don't block with the Unicorn, we just play Typhon. Keep going wide here. Even if they have the Shatter the Sky, we're safe against the Wrath because they've got no cards in hand. So they just play a Wrath and then we'd play a Typhon, win that way. And that is the concession, pushing us up into what, 6 wins now? 6-1 here, I believe. Oh, 6-2. Ooh. I did not realize I was 1 loss from out of here. So 6-2 gives us 850 gems after paying 750 into this. We are up in value. That's where you want to be. I don't know much about the stock market, but I know you want it to go up. So final boss in more ways than one. So my earlier statements that I wanted to get as many games out of this as possible. That's why I let Arena punt that earlier game. It actually turned out being accurate. This is as many games as you can possibly get out of a quick draft or premier draft. We're heading into game 9, 6-2. It's all on the line here. Will it be a 7-win run or just brushing up against the edge of glory? We're hanging on a moment of truth. With a very keepable hand. Ragehound into Chimera into Mantle of the Wolf on the play. I'm not going to call things preemptively, but this is a pretty crazy hand. Of course, if our opponent has the White Omen, that card is very good against these 1 toughness escape kind of cards. Because obviously they just block with 2 1/1s. Block our 3-1 with a 1-1, block our 4-1 with a 1-1. Could have a Stern Dismissal here, because they kind of looked at our Ragehound for a bit before they went to their turn. They were thinking about stuff. Oh, Mogis's Favor, another -1 card that will just shred our 1 toughness creatures, that is for sure. Passing to them, they are holding again, could be Stern Dismissal now. Or they have another Mogis's Favor. Alright, Stern Dismissal it is. Loathsome Chimera coming on back into our hand. That would be one way to really lose here, is if we just get absolutely hosed by all of the -1 effects. That is the biggest downside of this hand, for sure. We could play a Ragehound and Thrill of Possibility. I think I still prefer the Chimera, although now they actually have blockers, so it's not just getting in for 4 every turn. We still have the Mantle of the Wolf plan. I guess Ragehound... Actually, no, we can't Ragehound in Possibility because we don't have another red source, we just have another green. Yeah, so I can't double spell no matter what I do, so we just play our most expensive card. Play the one that isn't forced into a bad attack. Well, no blocks here. I'll allow it. I'll take 3. They're at 4 mana now. Mogis's Favor, they don't even have to exile that much for it, do they? They only have to exile 2 other cards and they get to kill our Chimera. Yeah, let's throw a Mantle of the Wolf on this thing before things get real bad for us. We have 5 mana right now. The only card in our deck we can't play is Fairy's Band Brawler, and it's not in our hand, so we'll just scry the land to the bottom. We will play Mantle of the Wolf. Hit for 8 or kill their Sea Guard here. And now, even if they kill our Chimera, we're getting a couple 2/2s out of it. Which is pretty solid. Bam! Hit for 8 down to 12. Let's go. Now we know they can't Mogis's Favor our Chimera as well, which is very important. Ooh, we're racing. Alright, could be Stern Dismissal again. Devourer of Memory. That could just be a chump blocker. Alright, Mire Triton and Devourer of Memory. So they're planning on Death Touch blocking Chimera, so we're definitely going to Omen the Forge to kill that. So they can't Death Touch block here. And then we play Underworld Ragehound to trade with their 3-2 if they attack in there, and we're probably winning the race now. But it is very close. I mean, Devourer of Memory can get in like unblockable, but that's only if they take the 8 here. Oh my god, they take the 8. They're getting real aggro here. So we play Rage Hound. They have to dump 3 mana into throwing Mogis' Favor on our Rage Hound if they want to get out of the way for their attacks. Even if they do get out of the way, they're doing 7 damage here. That would be lethal in 2 turns. It is a race for the victory here. They drop a Shoal Kraken. Attack with those. Definite trade with the Devourer of Memory here. They have 6 power, so they could double block Chimera to kill it, but then we get a couple 2/2s. I think I'm pretty fine with that happening. We kill both of those, get a couple 2/2s. They have a Sea Guard on board and a 2/3, and then we play like a Scophos War Leader and stuff. Yeah, they have a 2/5 and a 2/3 left over. We have 6 mana here, so we get to play War Leader, but that's it. Yeah, the 2/2 tokens make this a real safe attack still. Because I don't think they can afford to not trade here. Maybe they can. Maybe they just chump block with the 3/2 and try to get back for lethal. Because then Illyrios untaps and they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power on board. With Mogis' Favor, that makes it 9 power if they throw that onto something. That's 1 off from lethal. So you could try to get lethal in 2 attacks here. Interesting, they're going to go for it. All right. This is a sweaty game. This is a scary game. We're dropping War Leader. Get a pretty big blocker, pretty hard to kill. Definitely not going to get killed by Mogis' Favor. It can get Menace as well. And we have the enchantments on board to give it Menace and 6 power total. So that could crack through for lethal if they only leave 1 blocker up. Death Touch blocker there to trade with Chimera. That'll do that. They don't get to attack in now, though, which is great for us. We still have Thrill of Possibility ready. Need to draw land for that, really, though. Do I have great attacks here? Not really anymore. I attack, trade the Chimera for the Aerophant. I think we hold. I think we just play a Grove Dancer. Get ready to sacrifice Omen of the Forge to scry a couple. Hope to draw into something here. We've got no cards in grave for escaping these Rage Hounds. If I give War Leader Menace, it's a 5 power Menace creature, then they can just double block with a 3/5 and a 2/5, kill it and only lose 1, so we don't have a good attack there either. I could sacrifice like a million things and kill 2 of their things, but that seems bad. So we just play Grove Dancer, sacrifice the Omen of the Forge. We're in a top deck war here. Our opponent has Eidolon if they hit 2 more lands, but we've got Scry 2 immediately, and we've got Draw 2 off Thrill. Our boards are pretty comparable. So we'll see who can pull the victory out of these last few draws here. All right, that gets them to 1 land away from using Eidolon to draw 3, which is a very good in a top deck war. But Scry 2 is pretty good here too. We get the Brawler. We can brawl their Eidolon away. We could brawl their Death Toucher away too. Brawl the Death Toucher away, then we have an 8/5, but they can block with a 3/5 and a 2/5 and kill it. Yeah, I think we're brawling the Eidolon away to stop them from drawing here. And then we have Forerunner for Trample, which is huge. These are just great draws. We didn't need to scry. We just kind of had it coming up. I mean, it still depends on what they draw. They could get out of this, but it's a great couple turns. Very helpful right now. I'm assuming, based on their hesitancy, that that is not a land. Actually, they can cast Mogis' Favor on something to draw a card and discard a card off Shoal Kraken, so that could be a land, and they could be just considering looting it away by recasting Mogis' Favor, which is a cool combo with these cards that escape so cheaply. They've got 11 cards in their grave, so they could definitely do that. Now we have Forerunner to give everything Trample. So if we can get it to where our board is 6 more power than they have toughness, then we can win. They have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 toughness. We have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 plus 5. We have 23 power. They have 8 plus 8. They have 16 toughness. 23 minus 16 is 7. We have just enough to maybe trample over for lethal. It'd be a risky play. But we'll see what they do here. We can definitely consider that next turn if they have nothing here. But that could, of course, always mean they have an instant. Okay, they just have Ichthyomorphosis shut off the trample. Now I don't have to think about it. This is their enchantment, even though it's on our card, so we can't sacrifice it with War Leader, as good as that would be. Could consider trying to mill them out now. They're down to 16 cards, but they're probably going to eventually draw into some flyers or unblockable creatures. And we're pretty low on life, so we're definitely still trying to find a way to kill them outside of milling them, which seems real risky. They are going to cast Mogis's Favor to draw discard here. Draw land for Thrill of Possibility. We have 23, they have 16. We can definitely do this, and we are not going to mill first if it does come down to that. Tower Scout and a Crow in War. A Crow in War might just get us there. Oh my god. A Crow in War is huge here. I mean, Tower Scout's pretty good too. The 3/5 and the 2/5 are such a big deal. Did we get rid of the 3/5 with the Crow in War? I think we get rid of the 3/5 over getting rid of the Death Toucher. Because now, like, to block the 4/5, they have, like... The only good double block involves 2/5 and that, and then we kill something. So we kill something if they try to block and kill this. We trade there, get a couple 2/2s. We go wide enough for lethal next turn. We have a 3/5, a 2/2, and an 0/1 blocker here. I attack with the 4/4. The only way it dies is if something of theirs dies as well. Yeah. Every one of these attacking kills at least one of their creature. If it dies. There, so we got a creature out of the way there. We only lost one creature. We got 2 of their creatures out of the way and spawned 2 more out, going wide enough to probably just 6 them this turn. Yeah, our Crow in War was massive. Getting that 3/5 out of the way was so good here. So it all comes first circle, or full... I can't with English. It all comes full circle back to our pick one, pack one, a Crow in War, to finish off this draft as the cherry on top, getting us our 7th win. There's the concession. 7-2. I only let Arena miss out on the Crow in War trigger so that we could play as many games as possible. I promise. Just wanted to get you as long of a draft, as much content as possible. But yeah, that'll do it. Red-green monsters, definitely something I love doing. Probably my favorite strategy in the format, just because big dorks. And Nessian Hornbeetle is great fun. So, at the end of the video here, if you have made it all the way, as always, I would like to thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more of this content, you're at the right place. Just stick around, like, comment, subscribe, all of the goodies. I do stream occasionally some games on Twitch if you want to hang out there. I'd say on average once a week. Sometimes I don't stream for like a month, but then all of a sudden I stream 2 or 3 times a week for a little bit. It's really just whenever I want to on the Twitch. But if you want to see more card gaming gameplay, that is daily, or as close to daily as I can get it on this channel. So with that out of the way, thank you again very much for watching. The recent support's been pretty great. I did hit 700 subscribers recently. That was really cool. I was having a pretty rough work week, and and I was kind of avoiding looking at my YouTube notifications because of it, because I didn't want to see any like, oh, look at this massive misplay you made kind of thing. I didn't want to like look back on that at the time because I was already just having a bad day. And then I got home, I looked at the comments and stuff, and it was a bunch of like really supportive stuff at the time of the day 2 of the Arena Sealed event. So that was really cool. And I obviously also saw and got the notification that I had 700 subscribers on YouTube. So that's pretty insane. Thank you so much. See if we can make it to like 1,000 by the end of the year. That'd be really cool. I do remember last year I was trying to hit like 500 by the end of the year. We hit that. That was pretty awesome. So I'll see if we can keep that momentum going. I'll definitely do my part. I'll keep the momentum going on the daily vids as much as possible. So yeah, just thank you everybody for all the supportive comments, and especially all of those of you who have subscribed. As always, I will see you all again tomorrow if you just want to see more of this Magic Arena content.